So
And Loki, I don't really remember their purpose, but
he
I
always
don't
wanted
really
to
know.
be an emperor. so
Yeah.
so
Well,
you can see in the
he
series
could
how
live. Yeah,
about his glorious purpose.
yeah. Loki could looks like a real one,
Hmm.
even though in the series he looks like a good one.
Yeah, he changed, I think, in the
Yeah,
series a
yeah.
lot.
He's changed.
It's like a wake up call. He
Uh-huh.
saw what he was going to be and that he wouldn't have his glorious future, so he had to do something different, I
Yeah,
think.
she met someone. Well, he met himself.
So Mario is this Loki in the movie in the series. He meets a different version of himself, but it's a female version. So he falls in love of this female version of him. So it's like he fell in love with himself. Can you imagine that, Margie?
I'm listening.
Well, can you imagine that? Imagine you meet a variant of yourself, but it's a man. It's yourself, but a man. Would you fall in love with yourself? That's kind of the question.
Can you repeat it, please?
Okay. That they in the series Loki falls in love with a different version of himself, but it's a woman. Okay, a Loki woman for saying. Okay, and he falls in love with that woman. So imagine that it's like the narcissism, the ultimate
Yeah.
narcissism.
Yeah, our narcissism.
Yeah. So, Margie, what do you think about these villains? What do you think they are villains?
Well, the Marvel Studio has always had.
I don't know. I cannot hear you. Sorry.
Okay, can you
Okay.
listen?
Yes, pretty well.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah. Yes, pretty good. Loud and clear.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. Marvels always gave us this emotion that we have to feel when we face the evil, the
Mm-hmm.
evilness. So these villains came to represent all the strengths that we cannot see
Mm-hmm.
in the real world. So all these powers they have to control human being and to try to eliminate them. It's kind of it's kind of a version of the entire human being itself.
Mm-hmm.
The villain represents for the Marvel for the studios all the I don't know
The real life villains.
the, the strength
Mm-hmm.
against ourselves.
Okay.
I have to
So
watch Loki actually.
yeah, I highly recommend it. In matters of English, Disney it's characterized by because of having really good lines, really good scripts. All the what can I say? All the pronunciation in Disney normally it's really like the best.
Yes, I
And
have seen that.
in this case, Marvel, which is part of Disney, everything is clear. It's like sometimes they talk too fast, but it's a really understandable English, and they have really good diction. So it's not like they you put rappers to talk in Marvel. The maximum is the most difficult will be like the Wakandan, like the black people, but they fake an accent, and it's really funny because of that. So, but and they have the subtitles that are really good, so it's really recommended. And now that they
I need to
are
watch that.
releasing, yeah, they are releasing a series like every month or every month and a half or 2 months, and it's really good. So, for example, when I think about Thanos, it makes me remember of Hitler, but not
Mm,
exactly the same, because Hitler wanted to conquer the entire world, right? And Thanos didn't want to conquer. He wanted to eliminate the half of living beings in all the universe. He
yeah.
had suffered on his planet. The planet went into cataclysm because there was too many people, like in our planet today. There are too many mouths to feed in the planet Earth, and it's so complicated. So he wanted to eliminate the half of the population so the planet wouldn't die, and his people didn't pay attention, and the planet
Mm,
eventually died. So he had like this motivation. This is like his purpose in life, and that's why he does all the killing and all that, because he has a purpose. But I was referring to Hitler because I remember that he wanted, besides of being a racist,
mhm,
because he was the maximum racist of all times. He only thought that the white Caucasian people were the only pure ones. But one thing that he would do, that he was doing, is that they were eliminating, like, he wanted to have eliminated all the genetic diseases, like the hereditary diseases, like diabetes, like I don't know,
yeah.
some kind of diseases that can only be inherited by your parents or grandparents. And he wanted to like eliminate the diseases, and I think that was a
Mhm,
really good thing. But actually, the means, the way he was doing it, or he would do it, it was the worst. So I don't know, these villains, like they put like the motto is the end justifies the means. So
mhm.
I think that's the problem. They do it, but they don't care whether or not they hurt people, they kill people, as long as they get their goal. So I think that's what makes them villains. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, pretty like deep stuff about Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it actually.
Yeah, no problem. Don't
I'm
worry.
more kind of fan of romantic series.
Well, actually,
Yes.
I myself am a fan of sci-fi, so that's why Marvel like got me right away, because I love sci-fi. And the thing that they, from the first day, the first movie was Iron Man. It's total sci-fi. It was like they got me there. So
I'm
you're
back.
back.
Sorry.
Angela? What happened to you?
I was looking for a better cell phone.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this case, Daniela, before we change here, so we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about what makes this, at least these four characters, or it could be any other, what makes the villains? Do you know what do you think? Why are they villains? What they are villains?
Well, basically, is that what I think? What takes them to be villain? It's what marks them in their life. For example, Lucky always said that he's like the ugly one, and his family, no one loves it, and what he's looking for is someone to pay attention to him. He wants to be powerful because everything is about Thor, never it's about him. So it's
Mm-hmm.
attention what he's looking for. Thanos, you already said it. I mean, he wanted to like save the world, if you want to call it on that way, by killing the half of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And like her past make him take that decision, like what he lived. But what he did was found an easy way to conquer that. Because for him, the only guilty one were the humans, no one else. They were the only one who put the guilt on. Ultron, I mean, Ultron is a robot, was created for being like that, or that's what I think, you know. And he was created for only thinking about the self care thing, or that's what I think, And he never want to like save the world. He wants to be like the powerful. He wants to be better than the Iron Man and conquer the world because he was superior of the others. Like he feels very like humans were not good people
Worthy.
either.
Remember, he
Exactly.
says, you
Like
are
for
not worthy.
for him, humans were not important, you know? And that's actually what I think about it. It's like you said with Hitler stuff when you give him the explanation with
Mhm.
Hitler. The Hitler thought that everything that was wrong on the country and Germany was because Jewish people and the black people. So those were the guilty one.
You're
They have to
guilty.
die because they bring all the bad diseases and the bad things to our country. I was watching a documentary which
Mhm.
said that when he said that it was because of Jewish people that Germany was poor. So
So it's something related, like here, now to our normal situation. Like everything is USA to blame, or Colombia to blame, or anyone to blame. So
Anyone but them.
exactly, the guilt is on the cow and la vaca. So you find anyone to blame, and you will be the hero. That's it. Like,
exactly,
mhm.
exactly. I think
Yeah,
that's what it is. They never put the blame on themselves. Like Thanos, we never see that what he did was wrong. It's what others did was wrong. Like
yeah,
Lucky. But I
yeah,
think what
yeah. Go.
happened with Lucky, it is that with him is always the same narrative. In one part is good and the other part is bad. In one side of the story he's the bad guy, and the other part he's the sad guy or poor thing, whose family doesn't love him and
The outcast. No one loves him, something like that. You have to watch the
exactly.
series. He actually says, Loki in the series says that no one is ever truly good or completely good, or no one is ever completely bad. So there's like evil in good people and good in evil people, something like that. He was saying.
Which is right. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
true.
Like the yin and yang.
Mm.
Yeah.
So in this case, if we have the villains, we have also the superheroes or the heroes. Okay, the opposite. Which, let me just change the. I miss it. Okay. So in this case, if we know about the villains, what do you think about superheroes?
I don't know. I never stop thinking, what about superheroes?
Okay, don't worry. Marjorie, what do you think about superheroes? Or at least in the context of Marvel. Okay. If we already talk about the motivations of villains, we have what's the motivation behind these characters.
Well, I can see that even they are superheroes, all of
Mm-hmm.
them have their own problems to solve. All of them have their own problems to solve because
Mm-hmm.
they are not sort
I
of
don't hear you very well.
happy happy heroes against the world. No, all of them have this motivation to save the world, but they always have to save them first in order to create a um, new version of themselves
Mm-hmm.
to fight against these villains.
Okay. Did you watch, for
And I think
example?
it's kind of cool that Marvel has taken um, this purpose of not having, oh, we have just good and special heroes. No, they
They
have
are
their own
flawed.
problems.
They
They
have full
have
defects.
Yes, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
So like this, I suppose, did you all three? Did you watch the first Captain America movie?
Yes, I did.
I
Yep.
I did. Yes, I did. I did. I
Okay. Mhm.
I saw this first movie, but I don't remember quite actually very much about this.
Okay. So in this movie, if you remember, he was before, because he got a serum, he got a process. He was a really like really tiny, really skinny a young man,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
wanted to go to the
I
war.
realized
And he wanted to go to, yeah,
he was
like
not
help people.
he
He was not fit for battle.
he was not always that superhero that we can see at the end. That's why. That's what I'm telling you. That I kind of
Hmm.
like this change they made into this character.
Yeah, it's like that with Captain America. You can see the change, and the thing that he was always like a good man, and he kept being like that. It's part of what it's Captain America represents. And you can see, for example, in Iron Man, you can see, if you remember, do you remember the first Iron Man?
Yeah, he was kidnapped.
Can you tell me how he was before being Iron Man,
Well,
or describe his personality,
Well,
how he was?
he was
Iron
like
Man had
sort of
many,
big.
many problems to solve himself. Iron Man is one of the most characters I like because he he had he has to pass through this experience that almost die, where he almost
Hmm.
died, and it became into a new hero, a new person that he could feel that he could change the world itself instead of giving just all
Weapons.
the money he could get. It didn't matter all the money he could get. All he got at the end was that he could change the world by himself.
Yeah, I
So
think Iron Man just wanted like sort of power because he didn't want to work like in a team. He was like, hey, I work alone and I don't need anyone and I do whatever I want whenever I want and that's it. Because he was like, I have money, I have power, I have everything, and I'm handsome. He was like that.
and what about Angela?
Playboy philanthropist, something like that, wasn't?
What did you say, Melina?
No, I don't know what Daniela says. So
About Iron Man that he said in one of the movies. He said like, "I am a Playboy millionaire."
Yeah,
a philanthropist.
yeah,
Yeah,
Uh huh.
he was a jerk.
yeah, exactly. That's like the word to describe Tony Stark, and being Tony Stark, and like in the first Iron Man and during the first Avengers. I think till the second Avengers, something like the second Iron Man, he was a jerk. Actually, he was like a selfish person. Even though he did some change in the first movie. Like he remember he's a seller of weapons, of
Uh-huh.
missiles, of
Yeah.
guns, tanks, and he gets kidnapped, and he gets shrapnel. You remember what he got into his chest? A little
Yeah.
pieces of metal. Those are shrapnels,
Huh?
and they were part of his own missiles. He created those, and he almost died because of his own weapons. It was like, okay, he got like, I have to change, and I have to do something better than just giving weapons to the people. But he created just another weapon for himself, for being, like you say, like a selfish, egotistical person with a superpower because it was technological. And at the end of the movie, you can see the way he shows to everyone, "Hey, I am Iron Man." It's like all the attention is on me.
Yeah.
And actually, you could see like he was changing in the first Avengers movie because he felt like he had to work in team, and he didn't like that. So
Mhm.
you could see actually the first Avengers movie is about, I think the only team player was Captain America because he
Mhm.
was a soldier. But you have Loki, you have Thor, you have Hulk and Iron Man. All the three, they had never worked in group in team. So
Mhm.
you can see that some people have like are forced, and it's like what it reflects. People is forced to change in critical situations. I don't know if you agree.
Agree.
Yes, he's right. I think it's very very interesting how every character like evolutionate because of the films, on the sequence of the films. Because, for example, Iron Man is very different on the comics than what it is on the movie. On the comics, he's
But he was
alcoholic.
yeah,
He's he has a lot of problems, and in the movies, they turn it up in someone like everyone loves it. He's a very kind of good person. He helps the others, things like that. But I think it's the only one, in my perspective. At the beginnings, yes, he's kind of a jerk, but I think it's the only one who were like happy to help because, for example, Hulk, he doesn't want to be a hero. He doesn't want to be Hulk because of the reason, of course, of how he convert himself into Hulk. Captain America, he was tired of being the Captain America. He want to come back to her old life, and he doesn't like that. Like he
yeah,
liked to help people, but know how he ended up, like how he
al-
life ended up.
alone without his own people.
Exactly. And Thor is a goddess. Is a god, sorry, is a god. So basically his life it's just of him and he wanted to come back to her planet to, live her life over there.
His life,
So
yeah.
exactly. So I think Iron Man was or is the only hero inside the whole Marvel's movie that
Hmm.
actually likes to be hero or likes to be I mean authentically,
He
He
wanted
doesn't I
to.
mean exactly, like authentically. I don't know. That's what I think. Because, for example, Hulk always said that he doesn't want to be Hulk. He doesn't want to do that because he said that when he is Hulk, what he does is destroy.
Hmm.
So he don't want to do that anymore. So I think that Iron Man is the only one.
A real good trauma.
Exactly. So I
Yeah.
think Iron Man is kind of the only one who decided to take his role as a hero and leave it, like with everything.
And
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
about what do you think about this, Marjorie?
Well, I, 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 I have not much to say. Sorry, but because I don't remember the few movies I saw very much, and I have never paid attention to these so closely.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
don't worry. What about you, Joseph? What do you think about what Daniela was saying?
Oh, I was saying that I was just I was agree. I am agree. I agree, but because it's like the right thing. He was like Iron Man was the only one who wanted to be a hero and wanted to protect some other people.
An armor around the world to protect the people? He said that in one of the movies. I think it's Ultron.
Yeah, and that's why he created to Ultron because he wanted like something to protect the people after he died or something
Almost
like that.
died. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember in the first Avengers, guys? If you remember the first Avengers, Iron Man. There's a missile, a nuclear missile coming to New York, sent by the government. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and they are trying to, okay, if we cannot contain the invasion, we are going to kill them all, civilians, heroes, and the invaders with a nuclear bomb. Okay, they're pretty genius. And when Iron Man sees that missile, he says like, okay, he doesn't even think about it. He just goes, takes the missile, and goes to the, like, that's the a hole, a wormhole, a portal, okay, and he goes to with the missile inside that portal, and he takes it to the bad guys, and
Yeah.
he falls. That explodes, and he falls back to the earth, and he almost died because of that. And
Hmm.
you can see that he sacrificed himself that time.
Yeah.
He could have died easily, and he just sacrificed himself. and oh, but he didn't die. And you can see from the day one that he was like carrying a guilt, like he felt guilty because I don't know how many million of people, how many million persons have died because of his technology, and he
Hmm.
was like guilty. He was always feeling like I have to do something to make it right, to compensate everything I have done so far. So I think that's like these characters have pretty motivations, even though, for example, Thor in the first movies, he's just like a jerk. He's a god and he wants to fight. That's it. And the last movie, he gets like a in Thor Ragnarok, he transforms, but he has always been the same.
Yeah.
So, for example, okay, which ones do you feel identified? Do you consider yourself like you would like to be a hero? Would you like to be a villain? What kind of villain or hero would you like to be? It can be anything. It can be not necessarily Marvel. It can be even Batman. I don't know.
uh,
Would you like to have a superpower, for example?
Well, my daughter always asks me, "Mommy, what kind of power would you like to have if you could?"
And what do you answer?
And I always said to her, "I if I would like to fly, so I would be like a Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah, Wonder Woman flies.
Really?
I could be like a Wonder Woman."
Yeah, that's good. What about you, Daniela?
I don't know. I think something like Captain Marvel or maybe I don't know. It's just I never think it. But maybe Catwoman too. I know that she's not like a hero. It's like between a hero and a villain. But I think
Villain?
Catwoman. I really like Catwoman. She's very like on her style. She doesn't follow
Aquaman,
the rules. And
Oh.
she's
What about you, Joseph? What would you want to be?
well, I don't know if that's too much to say, but I
Imagine what
feel
kind of
I feel
superpower
related with
you
no,
could.
not superpower. I feel
Okay.
like related with Iron Man. Like it'd be cool being a
So you
millionaire,
could be one
playboy,
mission.
philanthropy.
So you could.
the, the, the Iron Man superpower is being rich. So that's
Yeah.
actually the very good superpower.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you saw the Justice League movie and where I think you know Flash, right, and Batman, and
Yeah.
Flash asks Batman, "What's your superpower?" And he says, "I'm rich."
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
being rich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually,
He's the
being
one
rich
who
is
paid
like
for
a
the stuff.
superpower. Because imagine, I think from all of these characters, okay, you have all of this is fiction, this is fiction, all of them are fiction, but
Hmm.
I think the most, okay, you actually in the future we don't know if we will have a crazy terminator robots that want to kill us because everything is possible, it's technology,
Hmm.
People
but
have people have to, look for Elon Musk because that guy is doing something and that's kind of
yeah,
well.
risky and
yeah.
I always see Elon Musk like the real Iron Man.
Or the
He's
Lex
trying to
Luthor, one never knows what he's going to do.
the next what?
Who could be
it's
Lex
kind
Luthor
of
too. You remember
yeah,
Superman? Remember Lex Luthor was a villain,
Ah, Lex
but
Luthor.
he
Yes.
was a really intelligent. He had all the good technology, even better than Batman. So we
hmm
don't know what he is going to be. It could be an Iron Man, could be a Lex Luthor. We don't know.
I think he could be more like a villain than a hero, actually.
Yeah, and what I was saying is like from all these characters, like what's the most obviously not right now because as far as we don't have that kind of technology, but in the future I can imagine if the humanity still exists in 100 years. It's like you will have that kind of technology for a character like Iron Man, something similar, because it's technology. It's something that can happen in the future.
But can you see the battle between these two amazing guys. I mean, Elon Musk,
And just Jeff
Joseph
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, and Branson. What's the name of the guy that recently went to the space?
Yeah, I remember the other is
Richard
from Virgin Galactic. It's I don't remember his
Richard
name.
Branson.
Yeah,
Richard
something like that. He went with Virgin
something like
Galactic
that.
to the
Yeah,
S.
they are putting all the efforts to I don't know to conquer to conquer the space. I can imagine so, but not with the effort of the governments by just by themselves. I think that is amazing because they are putting their own money to
Mm-hmm.
try to get the best technology ever in order to take human being to another level.
Yeah, I think that the future is like in the 70s when the humanity went to the moon. You have the communists in Russia and USSR or whatever the name was, the Soviet Union, and you have USA, and those superpowers were like the
Really
top technology. And nowadays you have okay, you have USA, China, and Russia, and all that. But if you see, is like the top technology comes from the private sector, so
Yeah.
you don't know
yeah,
what's going to
yeah.
happen in the future. And you have these magnates, like they're like today's Tony Stark or Bruce Wayne or whatever you want to call them, Lex Luthor. And you have, for example, like you were saying, Elon Musk. He's working
Mm.
with planes. He's working with space, with satellites, with Neuralink, which is like controlling computers with your brain. We don't know what's going to happen. And they are
Yes,
working with artificial intelligence, so I don't
I'm
know.
telling you, that
And
guy
with
is
business
Yeah,
models
problem.
too.
they are. I
Mhm.
think they are quite ahead on this topic on the yeah right
AI in English.
AI.
AI
Yeah, in English is AI. In Spanish is IA, artificial intelligence.
yeah yeah
So, for
they
example,
are quite ahead.
what would you like guys to talk about the next conversational topic? Because I just chose this. Someone said lucky, and I got because of it. Yeah, and that person is not here, so I don't know.
The one who chose it didn't came today.
Yeah,
Maybe kind of, maybe I don't know if you guys agree, like suicide or too dark,
suicide,
Suicide.
or it's too deep, or I don't know.
like suicide, euthanasia, and call something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like what can be the reasons as someone goes and takes that decision? Is it a coward? Is it brave, or something like that?
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
What do you think about the topic, Marjorie, for next
Will be
conversation?
I'm sorry, which one? The next topic
Uh,
what?
Dan- Daniela
What will it be?
suggested talking about suicide. Like, what are the reasons about that? Whether people is coward or brave enough to take a suicide decision.
Sorry, I can't understand because my internet is really bad.
Okay, no problem. We were saying suicide as a topic for next Friday.
And what about also talk about in the next topic or
Hmm.
next class or whatever, death
Yeah.
penalty, death penalty, like in the jail, like you make something pretty bad, like you kill someone and you are like sentenciado a death penalty,
Could
if
be.
that's right or not.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about next class about first suicide, and we do a little discussion about death penalty. Okay.
Yes, I
Yeah,
like
something
it.
like that. Okay. So, what do you guys think about today's topic? What we did today? You like it? I don't know. It's something different.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it was
Not everything
pretty
has
good.
to be serious. We can be serious next Friday.
Yeah.
No, it was really good. It was really good.
And actually, if you see, it was like two or three slides and we talk for an hour because
Mhm.
we will be talking, well, 50 minutes, something like that, but it's in three slides, even if we are just three, four persons, no one else.
Yeah.
So for today, I think we have finished for today. But next class, okay, remember you can read something about suicide or think about your own perspective about it, and think about a topic for the following conversational, whatever topic you want to talk about is good for me, and we will be discussing that. Okay.
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 So
Sounds
in
good.
this case, see you next Friday, Joseph, Daniela, and Margaret.
Okay. Bye. See you next Friday.
Bye. Remain online, Marjorie, please. Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Are you there, Marjorie?